Today has been a day, but I am here and we are going to dive right into Genesis 4. I want to preface this video by saying I need to post this earlier in the day. I think I'm going to start doing this while the kids are at school because by the end of the day, I'm like, I want to go to sleep. But I'm here and I had a very rough day, but I made a commitment to myself, to whoever is watching, and to God, because He's always watching, that I was going to dive into His Word for 90 days. So we're back with Genesis 4. I recorded a video like 15 minutes ago, and I didn't have my light, so it looked way worse. Look, I'm going to show you. Hold on. You probably prefer the light. I looked way sadder, but Ty brought me an ice cream cone. So here we are. All better. Anyway, so Genesis 4. Let's do it. Cain and Abel. I'm so excited to do this one, which is why I even have the willpower to be here right now. All right, so now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. And again she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain a worker of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. But for Cain and his offering, he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. Imagine bringing God something, and your friend or your brother or sister brings something, and God is like, thank you so much, so and so. And then for yours, He's like, thank you. It feels different. But why? Let's continue. He had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. The Lord said to Cain, why are you angry, and why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, and you must rule over it. I'm going to read that again. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. Have you ever given someone a gift? Well, if you've given my grandma a gift, you've gotten this face before, for sure. My abuela, oh my gosh, she's very particular about her gifts. It's fine. We're all different. But have you ever given someone a gift and been like, here you go, and they're like, thank you. You have two choices here. Do we crash out about the gift? Oh, this is a perfect example. Ty gave Alia his old iPad, but he put it in a box to like make it exciting to open it, a box of another iPad. And so she opens it and she sees that the screen has fingerprints. This girl turns around and she goes, it's dirty. Do you see what happened right now? My face went from to. So that's how Cain is feeling. Cain is like, what? What? Right? Clean it up and give it to her. Anyway, we're talking about the Bible, not me. So Cain's angry. His face fell. The Lord said, "Why are you angry? And why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, and you must rule over it." So he's saying the sin wants to just, that anger, that like, that, that, that wants Cain. It wants to consume him. And so God is saying, you must rule over it, which is what I've been talking about on my Coffee in the Coop videos, is keeping your emotions in check, because it's kind of a thin line. It's kind of a thin line, and you gotta tread carefully, no matter who you're talking to, no matter what you're doing. You want to be the absolute best example, the best version of yourself. You just want to be your best at all times. So, moving on. Cain spoke to Abel, his brother, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel your brother?" He said, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" I don't know if he did this, but I feel like he was. I feel like he was like, "I don't know," or he was probably like, "I don't know." I don't know. It depends if he had long hair. Anyway, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth." Which means you're going to work and you're not going to get any fruit of your labor. Which means you're going to be a fugitive. You're going to not be safe. You're going to be running. Okay? And a wanderer on earth, just lost. Just a lost vagabond on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me today away from the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." Then the Lord said to him, "Not so." You're not going to tell. So in this part, I am no preacher, but in my interpretation of this, if this was happening today, I feel like when Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear," he was saying, basically, "Didn't you say that you'd never give us more than we can bear?" And then he continues with, "Behold," which in today's words would be like, "Look, you've driven me today away from the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." So then the Lord said, when we're on 4 verse 15, then the Lord said to him, "Not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord put a mark on Cain, lest any who found him should attack him. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. When he built a city, he called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. To Enoch was born and was born as one. Okay, so all of this is to say, my whole spiel and why I genuinely felt like this is literally perfect for today. Today, when we're reading about Cain and Abel and the story of how they present God with their fruits of their labor, right? We don't really get what's happening as it relates to us. So when Cain becomes angry and jealous, God warned Cain before he did anything. And he said, sin is crouching at the door. Think about it. Like I said, Cain had a choice, and so do we. Jealousy starts small, resentment starts small, comparison starts small, anger starts small, but what we continue to feed eventually festers and grows. Sometimes it's like, well, they made me angry. But in Genesis 4, it reminds us that we are responsible for what we do with our emotions and that we can be angry without being hurtful. And someone else can succeed without you feeling like you're failing. And someone could have gotten something that you want really bad without it meaning that God is like holding something against you. So, what are you feeding? Are you feeding comparison? Are you feeding resentment? Are you feeding a victim mindset? Whatever you're feeding is going to grow. So think of one thing you've been comparing yourself to, and instead of asking, why don't I have what they have, why don't you ask God, what are you trying to grow in me? You don't need someone else's life. Nothing here on earth goes with us when we die. You need to be faithful with your life and do your best and be your best and do things with the right intention, with the good intention, because as you saw, clearly Cain's offering to the Lord was not with the best intention. Cain wanted something out of that. Cain wanted the recognition. It's one thing to do something for someone to get the feeling of appreciation, and it's one thing to do something for someone because you appreciate them. So Cain did this for God so that he would be like, Cain is the best. But instead, because God knows our intentions, right? Cain brought his thing, and then Abel brings his thing. And God is like, sin is crouching at the door. Thank you so much, Abel. Thank you so much. I love this. Thank you so much. So that's what I got out of that one. And it was so good. I had to wipe my tears and record it. Irritating me. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And thank you for joining me. And God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow.